Hey everyone friends, welcome to this core-based power flow today. I've got Elliot here helping me out. We've got 2 blocks to help us with our flow today. If you want to use blocks, if you've got any kind of block-like objects that will help you out today, then feel free to grab those. And once you do have them, we'll start in child's pose. As always, just starting to ground down into the practice. Take your time to get into this first pose, no rush here. I think this period of time before we start to move, before we start to get into more challenging parts of the flow, is really important. Kind of sets the tone for the practice, gives you a chance to check in and tune in and notice what it is that you've brought onto the mat today. So connect to the breath. Slowly, maybe start to look inwards. And breathe a little bit deeper, down into the belly. Connecting to our breath. Feeling how we're feeling energetically. Maybe any areas of tension in our body. Checking in without judging, as best as we can. We'll take a deep breath in here, in through the nose, filling the lungs. Feel the back body open. And a big exhale out through the mouth, sigh out. Beautiful. Let's shift forward into a tabletop. Tuck the toes under here, and we'll just rock forwards and backwards here. You can do this as fast or as slow as you want, just starting to warm up into the wrists, into the forearms, into the soles of the feet as we shift the weight back. We're mobilizing through our hips and through our shoulders. And you can incorporate any other movements here, just explore this space. You can add a little bit of a cat-cow movement, maybe a circle around the wrists, up to you. Just move here. When we are putting weight into our wrists, make sure we're pressing into all of our knuckles. We're gripping the mat with our fingertips. Our wrists are nice and active here. Good work. And when you're ready, come back to center. Tuck the toes under and push the hands back towards the knees and lift the knees up. Come into a little squat at the back of the mat. Have the knees wide. And come into a squat that feels good for you. So if you want to bring the feet a bit closer together and come onto the balls of the feet with the heels lifted, that's totally fine. If your heels comfortably reach the ground, fantastic. And just wherever you are, just move in this squat. Just open up into the hips. When you're ready, coming to center, we'll reach the left fingertips down and open up and away with the right fingertips. Take a big stretch here. Take a big breath in. And exhale, maybe find a little bit more rotation. Inhale, come back to center and change side. Bring the other fingertips down. And as you inhale, reach up and away. Really open across the chest here. As you exhale, maybe find a little bit more rotation. And inhale, coming back to center. Beautiful. Plant both hands down onto the ground and slowly walk the hands forward as we lower the knees to a hover here. Beautiful. So coming into like a levitating tabletop here. Take a big inhale. Pull the belly button in towards the spine. Feel an activation in the core. Inhale through the side ribs. Hold this position as you exhale. Good work. Inhale. And exhale, slowly lower the knees down to the mat. Beautiful. Just reset. Take a breath. And as you exhale, press into the ground as we arch through the spine. Find a cat pose. Drop the head. Press the ground away as we separate the shoulder blades. Inhale, come into your cow pose. Find a bit of extension through the spine. Maybe reach the chest forward. One more round. Exhale, cat pose. And inhale, find a cow pose. And then come back to neutral. And this here is where we'll grab our blocks. Sit back onto the heels. Untuck the toes if that feels okay for you. Bring the blocks either side of the knees here. Plant the hands down into the blocks. Inhale. And as you exhale, press the ground away as we lift the knees, staying on the tops of the feet here. Engage the core, really pull the knees into the chest here. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly lower the knees down. Inhale to just reset. And exhale, same again. Press the ground away, lift the knees up. Big inhale here. And exhale, lower the knees down. One more round. Inhale here, just to reset. Exhale, pull the knees into the chest, press the ground away, arch through the back, feel that strength in the core, breathing in, and as you exhale, slowly lower the knees down to the ground. Shift the block back behind the hips, plant the hands into them as we Inhale, lift the hips up, open the chest, find an opening across the whole front body. And then slowly exhale, lower those knees, so the hips back down to the heels. Beautiful. We'll shift the weight forward. You can plant the blocks just to the side here. Shift a little bit further forward on your mat, cross the legs behind you and roll all the way back onto your sit bones. You may have to shift forwards on the mat so you've got enough room behind you. Plant the soles down onto the soles of the feet down onto the mat. Inhale, reach the fingertips forward, lift the chest. And then as you exhale, start to tip the pelvis back, and through the strength of your core, lower yourself all the way onto your back. Nice and slow here. As best as we can, trying to keep feet planted down onto the ground. If they lift up, no worries. Beautiful. Take an inhale to just reset once we're down onto the mat. Awesome. And then when we're ready, inhaling both knees up above the hips into a reverse tabletop. Good work. All right. Pressing both hands into the tops of the knees or just the bottom of the thighs here. So press the hands into the knees, straighten the arms, press the knees into the hands and feel that activation in the core. Keep that connection. Particularly keep that connection in the left hand and left knee, and as you inhale, extend the right leg and right hand away from each other. Exhale, curl back. Plant the knee into the hand and change sides. Inhale, left arm and leg extends. Exhale, curl back in. And keep going like this, alternating with the breath. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl back in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl back in. Beautiful. Hopefully by now you're feeling that burn in the core, you're feeling the strength. Maybe you're fatiguing, maybe you need to take a rest, but just keep with it with the breath. Connect to the breath when it gets tough. Beautiful. Finishing off your rounds. And when you're ready, press as hard as you can, knees into palms, palms into knees. Press, 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 press. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Release the soles of the feet down to the ground, release the arms down by the sides of the body. Take a breath just to reset here and let it go. Preparing for a bridge pose now as we inhale, press into the heels, lift the hips up towards the sky. Really reach the tailbone to the backs of the knees here. Take an inhale, soften the chest and the front of the neck down into the mat. One more inhale here. And exhale, slowly lower the hips back down. Beautiful. And let's hug both knees into the chest. Rock left and right. Give the lower back a little massage. And when you're ready, maybe grabbing the backs of the legs, arching through the spine and taking a little rock forwards and backwards along the length of the spine. So start to create some momentum and really enjoy this rock forwards and backwards, massaging the muscles along the entire length of the spine. And when you're ready, using that momentum to come all the way forward, crossing the legs, planting the hands and coming to a downward facing dog. Beautiful. First downward dog of the practice. So pedal the feet out, move in your downward facing dog. Take a big breath here and let it go. Coming to stillness. Finding a downward facing dog that feels good for you. One more deep inhale here. And then start to look in between the hands as we exhale and tiptoe the feet to the backs of the wrists, finding a forward fold at the top of the mat. So bend the knees nice and deeply here, let the head hang. Feel that opening across the back body, across the hamstrings, the backs of the legs. And then inhale, we'll slide the hands up the shins, find a halfway lift, strength through the back. And exhale, release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Bend the knees a little bit more and shift the weight more into the heels. Press into the heels as we rise all the way up to standing. Inhale, big circle of the arms, reaching up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, big circle of the arms, reach up. Exhale, big forward fold. Send the sit bones back, chest forward and down. Beautiful. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, fold, plant the hands and step back to a high plank. Hold here for a breath. And let it go. Inhale, shift forward onto the tippy toes, drop the knees and lower the chest all the way down to the ground, keeping the elbows close to the ribs. Release the legs, release, untuck the toes. Inhale, low cobra, squeeze the glutes, lift the chest and the head just a bit and exhale, roll back down and push back into your downward facing dog. Maybe through a child's pose, up to you. Just make your way back to downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. Look in between the hands, and exhale, step to the backs of the wrists. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and release. Inhale, bend the knees, drive through the heels as we rise all the way up to standing. Hands to heart center as we breathe out, resetting. Inhale, reach up, big circle of the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Same again, halfway lift, breathe in. And release, plant the hands, step or jump back for high plank. Option to do the same flow as before, or keep the knees lifted. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or low cobra. Exhale, stretch back to downward facing dog. Hold here now in downward facing dog, and we'll inhale, float the right leg up and back for three-legged dog. Engage that right glute as we hold this position. Take an inhale here. And then as we exhale, pull that knee towards the right elbow and shift forward. Maybe it taps, maybe it doesn't. And then inhale, send it back for three-legged dog. Slowly lower that right leg back down. Take an inhale, look in between the hands, and exhale, walk or step the feet to the backs of the wrists. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Bend the knees, rise all the way up as we breathe in. Big circle of the arms, reaching up, and exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up, big circle of the arms. Exhale, big forward fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. And release, plant the hands, step or jump back, high plank. Up to you through your flow. Your journey back to downward facing dog, whatever that looks like for you, whatever you choose, move with the breath. Once we get to downward, hold it here, and we'll come through that little flow on the other side. So inhale, float the left leg up and back, engage that left glute. Exhale, shift forward, pull the knee towards the elbow. Maybe it taps, maybe it doesn't. Inhale, send it back, three-legged dog, and float that left foot back down. Downward facing dog. One inhale here. Looking forward, and as we exhale, step or jump to the backs of the wrists. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, release. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Reaching the hands up. Hands to heart center as we breathe out. Just press the thumbs into the sternum here. Stand tall. Maybe close down the eyes. Check in. Notice how you're feeling at this point in the practice. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat with your thumbs. Notice how your breath feels. And just take this opportunity to just reconnect. Feel the soles of the feet grounded down into the earth, and feel that uplifting energy coming from the ground up through the body, beyond the top of the head. Awesome. When you're ready, flicker the eyes open. We'll inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step back. Either straight to downward or through a flow. We all meet in downward facing dog. Find your downward facing dog, and we'll inhale, float the right leg up and back. Open, stack the hips here. If you want, take an inhale across that right side body. And then as we exhale, we'll shift forward, pull that knee towards the right elbow and step the right foot outside the right hand. If you want to bring your hands up onto blocks here, so again, if you're rounding through the back, you can bring your hands up onto blocks. You might find you've got a lot more space here. We'll come through this flow nice and slow just to learn it here. Beautiful. So find this lizard lunge, maybe move in your lizard lunge, feel that opening in the hip. You can shift left and right, forwards and backwards, up to you. And then come to a lizard lunge, come to center, and try to maintain the strength through the legs here. So not all the weight is in the hands. Beautiful. Ground down through the left palm, and as we inhale, reach the right fingertips up towards the ceiling, find a little twist. And then as you exhale, bring the right forearm down towards the ground, sink into that right hip. Inhale, reach up and away. Find the twist, and then exhale, sink the forearm towards the ground. Sink into the hip. Inhale, reach up and away. Last time, exhale, sink the forearm towards the ground, and hold it here. Keep that forearm lifted though off the ground, and then we'll reach the right fingertips forward. Keep reaching forward, bring the weight more forward into that front foot and hand, come onto the tippy toes of the back foot, and option here, tap the elbow to the knee. Re-extend, plant the right hand back down, both hands back down, and then as we inhale, send the right foot up and back to a three-legged dog. Open, stack the hips, Maybe coming into wild thing if you want, all the way over. Beautiful. Take an inhale in your wild thing, and as you exhale, make your way back the way you came. So plant the right hand down, pull that right knee in towards the center and step it through in the middle of the hands. Beautiful, there we go. Inhale, rise, high crescent lunge. Exhale, open to warrior two. Keep the legs as they are. And as you exhale, soften the shoulders. Inhale, reach the right fingertips forward. Flip the palm and exhale, reverse warrior. With all that length, take that little side body stretch. Breathe into the right side ribs. Keep the lower body as is, and as you exhale, tip forward into extended side angle. Beautiful. Long line from the back heel all the way up to the left fingertips. Beautiful. Breathe here. And then from here, inhale, come through warrior two, lunge to the back of the mat to either standing side lunge or skandasana. Big inhale here. And let it go. Look to the front of the mat. Inhale, shift forward, staying low, frame the front foot, shoot that right leg back to meet left, come through a flow or straight back to downward facing dog. Oh, you're anticipating what I'm going to say. Meeting in downward facing dog. Take an inhale and let it go. Let's do the other side. Inhale, left leg up and back. Open, stack the hips if we want. Take a big inhale across the left side body. And as we exhale, shift forward, step that left foot outside the left hand. Come to that lizard lunge. Again, use blocks if you need to here. Work into the hip. Move however you want. This is the first lizard lunge on this side, so we take a moment to just move here. Beautiful. And then come to center. Find your lizard lunge. Ground down. And particularly ground down to the right hand as we inhale and reach the left fingertips up. Find the twist. Exhale, reach that left forearm towards the floor. Inhale, find the twist. Beautiful. Moving with the breath, exhale. Lower the forearm towards the ground. Inhale, find the twist. Last time, exhale. Sink into that left hip. And then reach the left fingertips forward. Keep reaching forward. Come to the tippy toes of the back foot. And as you exhale, bring the knee towards the elbow. Maybe it taps. Then re-extend. Left hand down onto the ground. Take an inhale. And anytime as you exhale, send the left foot up and back for three-legged dog. Open, stack the hips. Maybe wild thing on the other side. Beautiful. Really lift the hips up, engage the glutes. Take a big inhale here. And as you exhale, back the way we came, plant the left hand down. Pull that left knee in towards center and step it through. Inhale, rise, high crescent lunge. Exhale, open to warrior two. Beautiful. Next, exhale, just soften the shoulders down. Beautiful. Take an inhale here. And let it go. Inhale, reach the left fingertips forward. Flip the palm. Reverse warrior as we breathe out. Breathe into the left side ribs. And exhale, tip to extended side angle. Long line from the back heel to the fingertips. Big inhale here. And let it go. And then we'll inhale through warrior two and then lunge to the back of the mat for skandasana. Big inhale in skandasana and let it go. Next inhale, look to the front of the mat and slowly frame that left foot. Step the left foot back to meet right. Come through a flow or straight back to downward facing dog. Good work. Hopefully we're feeling the heat here. If you want to stay in downward facing dog and just take some deep breaths, you can. Otherwise you can drop the knees, send the hips back for child's pose and just recompose yourself. Up to you. What do you want from your practice? Are you wanting to work with the strength? Always change his mind. You wanting to work with the strength and just breathe? Or do you need a bit of a rest and just get ready for that next little flow? Beautiful. Before we do come into that flow again, I do want to do one little movement. As we inhale, look forward. And exhale, step the right foot outside the right hand. Left foot outside the left hand and lower the hips for malasana. Find length through the spine, hands to heart center, back of the neck long. Notice how this feels, this position. If you need to bring the feet together and come onto the balls of the feet, then do that. Find your squat that works for you. Take an inhale, rise up out of the malasana. Exhale, plant the hands down and step back to downward facing dog. Beautiful, just a little hip opener in between the flows, why not? Take an inhale in downward facing dog and let it go. And are we ready? Inhale, float the right leg up and back and open stack the hips. Exhale, step that right foot outside the right hand, lizard lunge. Inhale, ground down through the left hand, reach the right fingertips up, find the twist. Exhale, forearm towards the ground. Inhale, find the twist. Exhale, forearm to the ground, sink into the hip. Inhale, reach and twist. Exhale, forearm to the ground and then reach forward. Forward, forward, forward. Shift forward onto the tippy toes, tap elbow to knee and then re-extend. Plant the right hand down and then exhale, three-legged dog or wild thing on the other side. Up to you. Wild thing is just an option here. Take a big inhale in wild thing. Then as you exhale back the way you came, plant the right hand, pull the right knee in towards the chest, step it through and rise. Inhale. High crescent lunge, good. Exhale, open to warrior two. We're really working here. Inhale, reach the right fingertips forward, flip the palm, reverse warrior. Take an inhale into that right side ribs and exhale, extended side angle, tip forward. Find that length across the other side of the body. Inhale, make your way through warrior two, all the way to the back of the mat, Skandasana. Take a big inhale on Skandasana, find that opening, and then exhale, let it go. Look to the front of the mat and inhale, shift forward. Frame the foot, step back through a flow or straight back to downward facing dog. Move with the breath here. Maybe it's getting a bit challenging. Maybe slow down the breath or slow down the movement. Preferably both, but try to control whatever you're doing. Once we're in downward facing dog, once we're ready, inhale, left leg up and back, open, stack the hips. Exhale, shift forward, pull the knee in and step it to the outside of the left hand. Lizard lunge, find that twist. Inhale, reach the left fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, find that sink into the left hip and forearm to the ground. Inhale, reach up and away. Find the twist, really pressing into the right palm. Exhale, sink into the hip. Press into the right palm, reach up and away. Inhale. Exhale, sink down and then reach forward. Reach, 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 and then maybe shift forward into that elbow, knee tap, re-extend, left hand down, and then pushing back into the three-legged dog, open stack, or wild thing. It's a lot of words, isn't it? Hopefully you're following along. Inhale, lift the hips, find that opening, and as you exhale, back the way we came, pull the knee in towards center and step it through. Rise, high crescent lunge. Exhale, open, warrior two. Take an inhale, reach forward, flip the palm, reverse warrior. One breath here. Extended side angle as we breathe out. Beautiful. Take an inhale and let it go. Inhale through warrior two, lunge to the back of the mat, Skandasana. Your option for rest or working with a bit more strength with the hands up off the ground, take one round of breath in Skandasana and let it go. And then next time you inhale, look to the front of the mat, frame the front foot, shoot the left leg back to meet right and come through a flow into downward facing dog. Beautiful. Big inhale in downward facing dog and let it go. Inhale, look in between the hands. Exhale, step the right foot outside the right hand, left foot outside the left hand. Lower the hips down. Find your Malasana. Either stay here in Malasana or if you want to play around with crow pose, then that is an option to you. We won't be cueing crow pose here, but if it is in your practice, you can. Up to you. Beautiful. Nothing wrong with just staying in your Malasana. If you want to work with a bit of an arm balance practice, then you can. This is your opportunity to. Strength in the core, opening in the hips. Beautiful. From here, press into the heels, rise halfway to an active squat, reach the fingertips forward. Big inhale here. And as we exhale, stand, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms and lift the chest. And then inhale, reach up and grab opposite elbows. Exhale, take a side bend to one side. Beautiful. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, lower the hands down for mountain pose just for a moment. Inhale, big circle the arms, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms, lift the chest. Inhale, reach for opposite elbows and take a little side bend to the other side. Beautiful. Back to center. And exhale, release. Stand in mountain. Beautiful. Close down the eyes, just ground down through the feet. recompose yourself. Just notice your breath, notice how it feels, notice how you're feeling energetically at this point now. Another opportunity to pause before we find a bit more movement and start to wind down the practice. Beautiful. From here, flicker the eyes open. Inhale, take a big circle of the arms, reach up. Maybe take a little back bend if you want here. Reaching the hips forward, fingertips back. And when you're ready, exhale, forward fold. Nice big forward fold here. Open across the back body. Notice how your back body is feeling now, how your hamstrings feel. And then we'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. Plant the hands, step back to a high plank now. Lower the knees down and slowly lower the chest down all the way to the floor. Release the hands, release the head, lower everything down and just shake the hips out left and right. We'll come to a Sphinx pose now. Bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. Elbows under the shoulders. Forearms into the ground. Take an inhale here. Keep the back of the neck long, gaze down, maybe at the top edge of the mat. One more inhale here. And options here, either stay in your Sphinx pose or lower the chest and forehead down to the ground. We're going to bend into the right knee and reach back for the top of the right foot. So you can either stay in half Sphinx or lower the chest down. Up to you. So once you've got hold of that leg, if it is a bit far away, you can use a strap or something to just help grab hold of the leg. Otherwise, if you've got hold, kick back into the hand, really open across the shoulder here. Engage that right glute. And then maybe pull the heel a little bit closer towards the butt. Notice that opening across the front of the right quad, the front hip. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly let go of that foot. Try not to slingshot the leg back behind you. So control here is what we're after. If you need to just lower the chest and head down and shake out the hips just to reset, you can. Then we'll come into the other side. And again, option to stay in half Sphinx and reach back for the left foot, or you can keep the head and the chest down on the ground. Kick back into that hand with the left foot. Find that opening across the front of the left chest and the shoulder. Engage the left glute. Maybe that's enough, and maybe if you want more, you can pull that heel in towards the glute. Big inhale here. And as you exhale with control, let go of that foot. Slowly lower everything down. Shake out the hips, just reset. Now we'll bring the right hand out towards the right hand side. Plant the left. So right hand out long towards the right hand side. Left palm onto the left side of the chest. Bend into that left knee and push yourself onto your right hip. Find that little twist here. Let the head just be heavy. Just relax down onto either a block or the floor. Breathe in here. And let it go. We'll inhale back to center. And change sides. Bring the left arm out long. Right hand to the right side of the chest. And push yourself onto your left hip. Finding that little twist. Inhale here. And let it go. Inhale back to center. Shake out the hips if you need a little reset, and slowly make your way onto your back. So just turn all the way around onto your back. We'll grab a block here. Walk the feet in towards the sit bones. Inhale, find a bridge pose, and maybe place that block underneath the sit bones. Well, not the sit bones, sorry, the sacrum. So underneath the hips, that big bony bit where your pelvis meets your spine, and find a height of the block that works for you. So it should feel nice and comfortable. If it feels like the block is kind of jamming into your spine, maybe you've got it a little bit too high. So lower it down, and it should feel like your hips can just rest on a table. Once you find that sweet spot, just relax in this position. Relax the shoulders, the arms just be heavy. Hopefully you feel a little bit of a decompression across the lower spine here. If this feels a bit too intense for you, option to just lower the block down, maybe even come onto a pillow or something softer. If it doesn't feel right for you, you can come into a regular bridge pose. Starting to slow down the breath. Feel free to close down the eyes now. Slowing down the practice, looking inwards. When we're ready, on the next inhale, just lift the hips up gently off that block and we'll remove the block and place it to one side. Lower the hips down and we'll hug the knees into the chest. Maybe rock left and right, give the lower back a little massage. Feel free to come into any other poses that you wish, maybe a happy baby, another little twist, anything that your body's calling for before making your way into Shavasana. Once you're ready, extend the legs out long. No rush here. Arms out long. And if you want to place any props underneath the knees or anywhere else in the body to support you, you can. Get comfortable, get any last little wriggles out and find your Shavasana, whatever that looks like to you. Try to completely release here. Feel the weight of the body just melt into the mat. Maybe take one last big breath, filling the lungs. And as you exhale, letting go, melting into the mat, letting go of the practice, and just being completely still in your Shavasana. Take as long as you need in this pose. No rush to move or do anything. The class will just end, the video will just end. And I hope you enjoyed this class, and I'll see you in another class again soon. Namaste.